Hello, dear friends. Welcome to this program, our Moments with God. And particularly if you are surrounded with the nature the way I am surrounded today, as you see, then certainly these will really be moments with God, with God's nature, with God's beauty all around. But there is a particular reason why I have chosen this forest, which I will tell you in a moment. But I hope that somehow these videos are helping us to become aware at the as a first level of our spiritual growth, that we need to be aware of the need to go deeper into our life, and then only we can make progress in our spiritual life, which I suppose is the aim of our life, or should be the aim of every Christian life. And if you are enjoying the video, please also share with others and ask them to subscribe for it. Thank you. So as you see, this is a beautiful place here, all around surrounded by trees. Yeah. And the reason why I have chosen these trees is because they are all actually big logs of wood that come out from these trees. And Jesus is mentioning today, first he begins by saying that no student can be cleverer or can know more than his master, though at some point with training, the student can also learn as much as the teacher. And that is true. Unless we go to a higher level, then we, of course, know more than the teacher at the primary level. That is true. But then he goes further and says, why do you look at the splinter or try to remove the splinter from your brother's eye when you yourself are carrying a log of wood in your own eyes, or a plank of wood in your own eyes? So that's why, we are surrounded here by all kinds of logs and logs of wood, which are beautiful in themselves. But Jesus, in a way, is using these beautiful trees as an how they can be obstacle also in our own life, not only in our day to day life with getting along with one another and living in harmonious life, but also a block in our spiritual life. And you see, Jesus says, who are you actually to point out to somebody else to remove the splinter, a small piece of wood from their eyes, when your own eyes are carrying this big log of wood or plank of wood? Of course, you might think that Jesus is exaggerating about how can an eye have a log of wood or a plank of wood. But that's a figure of speech. Just as he said, you remember, it is more difficult for a camel to go through the eye of a needle. That's a figure of speech to show and make people think what he's trying to say. Yeah, only when you make such exaggerated comparisons are people led to think and to reflect on their own behavior. But this is a beautiful example of how we are not supposed to judge others. And at the end of the gospel today, he again, once again says, judge not, and you shall not be judged. And the other day in my videos, I had mentioned that for some of us, our business is to mind somebody else's business. So that is bad enough to mind somebody else's business. But to pinpoint that you are at fault and hiding our own faults. What Jesus is trying to say, of course, if you are a perfect person, then you have a right to point out the mistake of others. But as the saying goes, the best of us has sometimes something bad in us, and the worst of us also has something good in us. So, we are no one to judge. God has not appointed you and me to be judge over somebody else. God will take care of that. Of course, we, if at all we have to correct somebody, it is by our example, how we live our life, that others can see, and as from us being witnesses, they can learn that this is a different life and maybe we can live like this, rather than trying to point out to somebody else, because that person can turn around and say, but you please look at your own life, and that will be very embarrassing for us. I'm sure each one of us has our own faults, and we can look at the logs that are in our own eyes and that is blocking our spiritual growth. And I'm sure when we remove those logs from our own eyes, we will make spiritual progress. I wish you all the very best. Thank you.